Okay, everyone, it is time for my Real Thoughts review on My Little Pony Season 5, the episode Do Princesses Dream of Magical Sheep? An obvious reference to the Book Rouge android's dream of electric sheep, a phrase that I've heard rewritten and tossed around a few times throughout pop culture in various things that I can't quite remember. As for my Sims recreation of this episode, it's going to come out a bit late, if at all, because it's going to be kind of a hard one to recreate. A lot of the imagery in the dream that made the dream unique is stuff that the Sims can't do, such as the giant Derpy and the cat-dog style Lyra and Bonbon and the flying muffins and some of the other weirder things. Plus, I also really don't want to make costumes for the Brave Knight Spike and the returning costumes for the Power Ponies. Although I do have the costume for Flutterbat, and I could probably easily make the Tintin bus, since it's just a mass of stars that takes on various shapes. That would actually be simple and fun to put together, but there's just a lot going on that I really couldn't do. I'd have to think of an alternate way to put the events of the episode together. Plus, since the whole thing happens inside of a dream, there would be no taking home a photo of the event. So I gotta get creative with it. So I'm gonna do the Real Thoughts review first. First thought that popped into my head is that when people were complaining about Slice of Life being nothing but a bunch of random fan service moments and random callbacks to things throughout the series that only existed to please the fans and had no real purpose and just seemed to come out of no place. This is proof that there's a difference between what people were accusing Slice of Life of being and what true randomness is. Because while the fan shoutouts that we had in Slice of Life may appear random, they actually told stories and had a purpose. The fan shoutouts that we got here truly were random. Well, that's the nature of the dream. It really did feel like, just bring back everything the fans love and be completely random about it. Not that I didn't enjoy seeing that stuff, I just know that anyone who called out Slice of Life for its craziness will probably call this one out for even worse randomness. Anyhow, this episode has us seeing Luna creating a small creature to repetitively punish herself for being Nightmare Moon by giving her nightmares every night, supposedly before she goes dream walking and helping ponies with their dreams and taking on her other nocturnal responsibilities. But I imagine her night probably goes like this. She raises the moon, falls asleep, has her nightly required nightmare, then wakes up from it and goes dream walking, and perhaps does other princessy things as well. At least we get to see in this episode how the entire process works, what Luna's bedroom looks like, and how all of these things come together. Sadly, all of the main six's pets are here, including Tank, with no ceremony to celebrate him waking up from hibernation, but we don't get any reference to Luna's pet possum, which appears in the comics, and so far only in the comics. We do get a little bit deeper into the psyche of the main six and the background characters, especially Big Matt, when we see each of them dreaming different dreams and seeing what constitutes as a dream come true and what constitutes as a nightmare. Rainbow Dashes perhaps being the most interesting, and Fluttershy's probably being the most fun to analyze. Although Filthy Rich and Scootaloo and Derpy and some of the others also had very interesting dream moments. As I said at the top of the video, this episode was full of tons of callbacks, like Bats and Power Ponies and bringing back the library, and even a reference to Dog and the Pony Show. Overall, I think this episode was interesting to watch, but it's not on my top 5. Not even sure if it really would go on my top 10 or not. We still have quite a bit of season left to make that judgment call. After watching a few reviewers, I can appreciate it from a few new angles that I never considered before, but my initial reaction to this is that it's not an awesome slice of life story, nor is it an awesome action adventure. It does absolutely nothing wrong, it makes no wrong turns, but throughout the entire episode it generally plays it safe, doing nothing excellent but nothing horrible either. It's simply a good episode, an okay episode, an average episode, a very middle of the road episode, making no mistakes, but also making no brilliant triumphs that we'll be talking about for ages and ages. Although a couple things do come to mind on further examination after watching other reviewers watch this. One of these is that someone compared Luna feeling guilt and punishing herself by making herself suffer as being an analogy and a moral learned referencing the act of self-hurt, and how hurting yourself is not a good practice. Another thing that I realized while watching this is in a way sort of one of the things I've always wanted to see happen. A giant monster that attacks Ponyville and is so powerful that the main six can't defeat it on their own, and they need all of the ponies of Ponyville to band together and work simultaneously to defeat the monster. The downside being that this was a dream world, and the act of all of Ponyville coming together to fight the monster was done through giving themselves additional powers through the use of dreaming and allowing themselves to do anything they wanted. It was nice to see, though, when push comes to shove, it is Filthy Rich who steps up to the plate and takes on the role of hero. Him, along with Big Matt, were doing the most to save the day, with Scootaloo a close second. Many of the other background ponies ended up remaining mostly in the background, although they probably didn't get a chance to really truly show off the powers that they both bestowed upon themselves through dreaming. Now, for my wish to truly come true, this similar event has to happen in the waking world with a real monster, with real ponies, with real powers that are not modified by dream logic. Overall, this was a very Discord-like episode, in a way to bring in Discord's sense of humor without actually using Discord himself. A lot of things really did feel like a dream, and I think there's a lot to analyze about why different ponies dreamed about what they dreamed about. Overall, I don't expect the episode to be in many people's top 10s except for the Luna fans who love anything Luna related. She did certainly get quite a lot of character development, but the episode really does not capture my interest as much as Amending Fences or Slice of Life did. Although I did enjoy it quite a deal better than the Trouble Shoes episode or Princess Spite, which I'm putting at the bottom of my interest list for this season. A few other things, like I said earlier, Tank is back. No major ceremony celebrating his return, he's just simply back. We did get to see Luna's bedroom, so we got some idea of what that looks like in canon. For whatever reasons, Luna does not dream of Spite, and in a world where we've gotten tons of Dear Princess Celestia letters, and one letter from Sunset Shimmer to Twilight Sparkle starting with Dear Princess Twilight, this is the first time that we've gotten a letter stating Dear Princess Luna. It also tells us something more about Spite's magic when he sends letters. He doesn't just send the letters to Celestia, he can in fact send them to other ponies as well. Whether or not his powers are limited to only princesses or all ponies is something that remains yet to be seen. Lots of great visual gags and neat stuff that happened in this, but it really wasn't enough to save the episode overall. It remains perfectly right in the middle. Neither epic nor disaster of a story. Anyhow, we do seem to have a bit of a hiatus coming up, so no more new pony episodes during the rest of July or the rest of August. The next major pony content will be in September for the third Equestria Girls movie. And then My Little Pony Season 5 will probably come back somewhere around October, November, or December. So, while I can't confirm what I'm about to say or not, my theory is that because it's coming back around October, November, December, it may be in order to show off Nightmare Night and Heartswarming Eve related episodes, in order to put the Halloween episode in October and the Christmas episode in December, which would be interesting if they were going to pull that off, and that would explain a lot about the episodes. Although we did have a winter episode with Tank during the middle of the summer, so anything could be the reason for why this, why now. So a few other last minute observations. Once again, thanks to the Killer Kates, Pinkie Pie is once again faced with a food that she does not want to eat. And we have yet another episode showcasing Twilight not sleeping very well. Poor Princess Twilight not getting enough sleep. Let's see how long that trend continues in comparison to Pinkie Pie's bad food experiences. Also sort of got a song, but I really wouldn't consider those singing G3 style flowers to be song-worthy. And finally, the main theme of this whole episode seems to be forgiveness. Not only the forgiveness of others forgiving you, but mainly and also your own ability to forgive yourself for the things that you feel guilty for. Anyhow, that really is all I have to say about this particular episode. Thank you for watching and good night.